Hey there! Today I'm going to talk about being a father. Oh boy, here we go! I went to college in the 90s and... Excuse me. Yeah, I need this already. Hold on a second. First off, don't go away. Keep this video, whatever you do, keep this video running till the end. If you think it's dumb and you don't want to listen to it, just open a new tab and mute this and then go on with the rest of your life. Thank you very much. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. I got up to like 45,000 subscribers. Yeah, not that many watch it. It's like Facebook. You've got 2,000 friends, but only 20 of them are really ever seeing your posts, and that's how Facebook works. So anyway, I went to college in the 90s, and there was a point in time when I was definitely going to be a teacher. And my original idea was I was going to teach high school or college. That was my thing. I was like, I'm going to be a professor. I loved it. I really did love the college campus, and the classes seemed really cool. And obviously, I'm really great in front of people. You see me on camera, and I'm very animated, very engaging. And the fact is, it's natural for me to get up in front of a group of people. Apparently, most humans dread that, but I don't. I'm chomping at the bit. I look up at a speaker and I think, man, I wish that were me. Going into teaching, and I remember one of the professors was like, would any of you like to teach elementary school? And most of the people were into that, and I did not. And I was asked, well, why? And I said, because it's a cesspool of plague and filth. And she was sort of taken aback by that. And of course, what a flippant thing to say. And I was in my 20s and dumb. And but at the time, I didn't know that I was kind of right that if you're an elementary school teacher, you're probably going to get sick a lot. Anyways, I got married in 1994. We didn't have kids for 5 years. And then my wife, Tammy, she told me one day, I'm going off the pill. We're having our first child. You're going to be graduating soon. You need to know that I'm quitting my job. You're going to be the sole income for this family. You better get going. And I said, okay. We were young and Mormon, and that's kind of how you run it. And is my face like pink and my neck is like white? What's going on? Nobody knows. Anyway, I didn't really want to be a father. When I was younger, I always was like, I'm going to be a bachelor for life. Of course, you don't really know what's involved. You just see on television shows, the baby's crying, nobody can do anything about it. And it's both better and worse than that. And so my first child, nope, not quite there yet. When Tammy got pregnant with our first child, I remember being excited about it. My ex-wife, she remembers me saying, hey, but I want to be the baby. I don't ever remember saying that, but I do understand the sentiment. When a couple is young and married, they have each other's attention, and it's just those two, and they run around on their adventures. Well, when she has a child, guess what? He's out in the cold. He's gone. The child is now the new main focus of things. And if you have anything to say about it, well, that's just not accepted. And it all makes sense. It's a circle of life, and that's what needs to happen naturally if you think of it in sort of a biophysical sort of way, that the child does need to be the main focus in order to survive and be raised. And it is, parenthood is definitely a bone-crushing experience. And you don't realize till afterwards. I did not turn off my ringer. Let's give this person a little message. Can't talk right now. What's up? All right. And then let's get back to the other thing. Okay. So So summer of '99, I graduate, we throw up our caps, and then I'm headed back up out to the car, and there's my wife, my young wife, age 29 probably at this point. And her belly is huge. She's at 8.5 months. She waddles up. Her toes are just like splurging out of her sandals. And she's miserable. She waddles up. She grabs me by the lapels. And she says, I made an investment in you. And I'm getting my money back. And of course, the first child comes. The childbirth was, first off, it's not like the movies where it's like, oh, I'm going to labor. And 5 minutes later, blah, the baby's out. Oh, no. No. There's a whole 24 hours of run-up where it's a lot of just waiting around while she's in labor. Our fourth child, Willow, from first labor pain to baby's out was 4 hours. And that's quick. And I got to hand it to my ex-wife that she did a really good job. She did like this mind over matter, like a meditation birth stuff. And it was really cool. So about fatherhood. The Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day. Right up until the baby was coming out, I viewed it as like, I knew my life was going to change. Giant amounts of responsibility were coming. I didn't fully understand it. Now that I know what's involved, it's not a problem. If I could just go back in time and put this consciousness into my 30-year-old body, I could definitely do it. It would be easy. And so, but when McKenna, my first child, came out, I just fell in love, and all those chemical receptors kind of went off. Whatever that neurochemical thing is that happens that bonds you to that child, I was there. And just my know-how had to catch up. And at the time, we were living in a trailer in my mother-in-law's driveway, kind of on the outskirts of town. It was not a pretty sight. And I was still looking for a job. And of course, I found a job teaching school in San Francisco, and of course I just got it all on my shoulders, and I got up at 4:30 a.m. every day without fail, and I went and did it, and I made sure the bills were paid, and I just did what it took to do it. And I have to say that if I had advice re-childbirth, now that I've been to it 5 times, that I would say get a doula, make sure other people are in the room so that as a father, not everything rests with you. And you might think, well, Sean, you're just trying to get out of it. No, yes, a little bit of both. It's important that you have those other people, because if the labor is going to take a long time, everybody's going to get a little worn down, especially the mom. And she doesn't need just one person with her. She needs a team of people. And a doula, which is basically like a childbirth helper, that is really a great way to go. And at the time, in '99, I think we paid like $400 for our doula. And that was a lot of money for us. And I think most recently with child 5 in, I'm going to say 2016, yes, that's right, summer of 2016, I think it was like $900. So that's the cost. And of course it could go way up. I doubt it will go much lower than that. And a doula is really a marvelous thing, and because she acts as sort of a buffer, and she's an expert at it. She's been to lots of childbirths. And you meet with her beforehand and talk about what you want and how you want it to go, and the mother gets to know her and trust her. That's a very important thing. Don't get a doula at the last second and have it just be this stranger in the room. Make sure you do it on the run-up. Usually I'd say 3 months would be the minimum run-up to get a doula. And okay, with fatherhood, actually having a baby, that's bone crushing. And my recommendation is do the same thing. Try and get other people involved so there's a support system. The mother herself may do it. And also, I would say, defer to the mother for how she wants things. Her intuition is at an all-time high right now, and she certainly can feel her way through it and understand how she wants things to happen. And definitely, I would say, through the child's entire life, me personally as a father, I defer to the mother and how she thinks things should be run, because the mother usually does have a clearer insight on the well-being of the child. Fatherhood has been great. I have definitely enjoyed it. Obviously, I have teenagers for the first time now. That's a little different. It's much easier to have a teenager than a little baby. The baby is, for the first 2 years, it's a lot of effort. That little pod needs constant attention. And it's tough for the mom because she is like really devoting all her resources and mental energy to this new being. And as a father, you either need to have an understanding with the mother that you're going to keep working on your relationship as well, or you got to find other hobbies, man, and definitely find something to occupy yourself, because the Batman, Robin, flying by the seat of your pants, going out and doing whatever, whenever, with your spouse or companion, whatever, those days are probably mostly over. However, I would say definitely make time for that stuff, because if you drift apart, it just creates like this friction. And when you add a baby, the efforts of raising a baby on top of that, that definitely is a toughie. Now, if you were deciding whether to be a father or not, nowadays I think you really can choose to not have kids, and it's okay. You simply assume a different role in life and with the other people around you, and be the one that takes the pressure off of the brother or sister or relative that does have a child by helping out. And that's definitely a way to go. And of course, recently in the last 4 years, as you guys know, I dated a lot and was by and large dating women in their 40s, average age of 42. And so what I found is, for a lot of them, they had, as their children were growing up, they didn't realize it, but those kids took up all of her mental energy and her identity, and she had to get back to having an identity for herself. So that's something definitely that does happen. And by the way, I say all of this with a lot of tenderness, and also maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm only telling you my perspective of things. So at the time, being a young father with a first child, I really didn't know what I was doing. And that really gave this sense of frustration. Like all this that pressure is just amplified. And the fact is, if you just knew what you were doing, that pressure wouldn't be there so much. Flash forward 16 years to 2016 to Audrey, my youngest child, who's now 4, obviously. She was really easy. And diaper changing, this is like a big fight that young couples have. Usually the mother trying to get the father to pitch in a little bit, and he's like, oh, it's gross, and he kind of fights it, and eventually she kind of gives up and just does it. Well, guess what? It's not that hard. You just got to learn to suppress that gag reflex and just get it taken care of. And I can change a diaper in 1 minute now. And if it's gross, 2 minutes. And there's definitely a way to do it that if you just learn how to do it, it's not that hard. So as a young father, I would definitely, to a young father, I would say, don't be so resistant to pitching in. Get in and help with all the stuff. Changing a child's clothes, too, that can be very frustrating. But the fact is, if you just practice a little bit, it's not that bad. And also, with Audrey, I was with her from age 1 to age 2 for a full year when she was still a baby, and I ran my company, and had the baby with me all day. And guess what? It's not that hard. So if I had a companion, or I was raising a child with that companion, and that companion were to say to me, oh, I couldn't get to all these other things because I'm completely wiped out from the one child. Well, guess what? No, you're not doing it right. It's not that hard to take care of a young child. You just have to learn what you're doing, pay attention, and organize yourself. It is hard if you're trying to peruse social media all day and the child is a distraction. But if you actually treat it like a job, it's not that hard, and there's plenty of downtime to watch TV or do whatever, and it's not hard to pick up the house after oneself and one small child. Not hard at all. 2 kids, that's getting a little harder. If you have 4 kids and you're the full-time person for them, yeah, it's tough. 4 young kids is a skull cracker right there. My impressions of being a father, really, really good experience. Lovely. But at the same time, I'm to the point now where it's like, oh, this is my last run, so I'm really enjoying it while I can. And if I had advice for my younger person, for my younger self, it would be enjoy your time with your kids more. Because, well, of course, I was out for 16 years. I was the full-time breadwinner, so obviously I had a lot more things on my plate. But it seems like the oldest child is the one that I know the least. And then, of course, the youngest child, in spite of all the other things going on in my life, I know the best, that I'm spending the most time with. And, of course, it's different because, as you guys know, I was with Tammy for 20 years, then divorced, and then 4 years of being single. But during those 4 years, I had Audrey, who's my youngest child, now 4, and, of course, I'm married to her mother. We just got to the 1-year mark. And Audrey, obviously, she's easy as pie. And it's really strange because it's the first child for Luli. And so Luli's always asking me about, well, what about this? Is it normal that she does this? And because, of course, I've already had 4 kids. So it's nice. It gives me a chance to sort of mansplain things, which, of course, you know us men love to do. All right, well, I think we're to video time now. Yeah, 17 minutes is usually, 20 minutes is usually as long as I want to have the rambles. In short, nothing to be afraid of. Just pay attention, learn new things, and with that, it should be a pretty easy experience. And on the other hand, I really think it's okay to not have kids. That's a way to live, or have them later. It's all right. We're not in pioneer days where, in order for the species to survive, we've got to have 6 kids because 4 of them are going to be wiped out one winter. It's just not what's going on. And yeah. Well, anyway, I hope you got something out of this. Again, I don't know everything, but here I am. I'm 51. I did have 5 kids, and so 5 times around that block has given me a lot of insight into things, especially changing diapers. That's like nothing to me now. Don't know why I resisted it all that time. And it's certainly a huge help. It's important to support the mom. Okay, talk to you guys later.